friends, it's me, Mrs. Ebert. I wanted to take an opportunity to read another story to you. This is one of my favorites. We had not read it yet at school. And then I have an art project that I'm going to show you that I'm hoping that we could do together related to the story. So it's called Jack and the Meanstalk. You might have heard of the story Jack and the Beanstalk. This is Jack and the Meanstalk. If you hear squeaking, that's because gingerbread is right behind you. Professor Jack was a scientist, but his first love was for his garden. He spent all his spare time growing vegetables, and nothing pleased him more than a fresh carrot or a ripe tomato. Professor Jack was also a very impatient man. Crops that didn't sprout quickly enough annoyed him, so he decided to invent a way to make them grow faster. Professor Jack disappeared into his laboratory and began experimenting. He mixed up a batch of chemicals and poured them over the seeds that he had collected from his garden. He laughed and pictured the plants that would be the envy of every gardener he knew. "Now we shall see how fast my vegetables grow," he said to himself. Early the next morning, Professor Jack awoke to a loud crash. He ran outside and saw that his experiment had worked better than he had ever dreamed. The villagers gathered quickly, and by midday, 2 television crews had arrived to witness the extraordinary plant. As the plant continued to grow, so did the news of its incredible size. All of those who set eyes upon it were bewildered. By now, the plant had burst through the ozone layer, and its thousands of leaves were blocking out the sunlight. The Earth's government sent fighter planes to try to shoot it down. People became very afraid, but still the plant grew. Meanwhile, the plant's roots bulged out of the soil, erupting through the countryside, destroying towns, villages, and everything in its way. But the worst was yet to come. A satellite in space sent back pictures of a space monster that appeared to be climbing down the giant plant towards the Earth. Now people were truly terrified. No one knew what to do. The animals were frightened too. Their homes were being destroyed, and soon they'd have nowhere to live and nothing to eat or drink. So the badger called an emergency meeting. "We must get to the root of the problem," said the fox. "The roots! That's the answer!" the owl cried. "We must eat through the roots of the giant plant, and we will kill it once and for all." Foxes, rabbits, moles, and all who could burrow waited for the badger's word of command. At badger's signal, they started to dig and gnaw and bite through the roots of the plant. This is my favorite picture. Day after day, night after night, the burrowing animals tore at the roots with their teeth and claws. And finally, the giant plant, with no nourishment from the soil, weakened. When it died, it snapped into pieces, which scattered into space, taking the space monster away with them. In the meantime, the countryside had recovered. Towns and villages were rebuilt, and the people and the animals went on with their lives. Professor Jack repaired his house and planted a new garden, but this time he let nature take its course. And there's the space monster off on another planet, if you can see. Thanks, friends. Bye.